welcome back to my channel with another day. It's another dollar. Let's remember to click like, subscribe, and share. Hit that bell notice. Let's go crazy in our comment section for every time I upload a brand new video. You will be the very first to be notified. And we're on a fast track here. Week by week, I've been giving you guys the playbook. Okay? We talked about picking a domain name, how to pick a domain name, how to pick a business name, how to set up websites. Now, last week I talked about whether now you're going to figure out where you need to identify for tax purposes, whether you want to be a sole proprietorship, whether you want to become an LLC. So today I'm here to talk about what is limited liability, LLC. Okay? A limited liability company, also known as LLC, is a business structure in the U.S. that protects the assets of its owners. Okay? Notice that plural. Notice that S. Notice that S. That means there's typically more than one person. S. So that's if it's just you, S. Okay? So there we go. So from lawsuits and creditors concerned with the company's business debts. I also talked about, I haven't really gone into this yet, but also fixing your own personal credit, especially when you're a small business, is very, very important. It's very important to make sure all your ducks in a row. And we can talk about that on getting money, making Mondays. I talk about paying down debt, getting ahead, staying ahead. So those were some of my past videos. So we can talk about helping you fix your credit step by step, because it's easy. It's so easy. People pay thousands and thousands of dollars to all these people when you guys can contact the credit bureau and Google some AI free template letters and mail them in yourself. You guys got to start being able to put in the work. If you can't get on the pavement and get your feet wet. Anyway, that's for another video. But let's go back to LLC. Limited liability companies are hybrid entities that combine the characteristics of a corporation with those of a partnership or a sole proprietorship. So while that limits liability features to corporations, the availability of a pass-through taxation to the members of an LLC is a feature of a partnership rather than an LLC. Okay, so what I want you guys to take away from what I just said is the limited liability company is an LLC. It's a corporate structure that protects its owners from being personally pursued for repayment of a company's debt or liability. So basically, if you're a personal comedian and you go around and get a venue for your show and it was $5,000 and you charge people things, and then there was a snowstorm and people might want their money back or feel pursuit. It depends on what you put in your terms and your contracts, and contracts are important too. Everything in writing, verbal, nothing, everything. I think verbal communication is okay, but email contacts, people say, oh, it can be words can be it's in writing. It's in writing. So I like everything in writing, but it will limit your personal obligation to debts and liabilities. Okay. Regulations of an LLC varies from state to state. So you got to check your individual, and probably sometimes even county to county. Any entity or individual can be a member of an LLC, with the notable exception of banks and insurance companies. They cannot be. Okay. So LLC do not pay taxes on their profits directly. Okay. I'm not a tax advisor, so consult with your tax advisors. But LLCs, they will not pay taxes on their profits directly. Their profits and losses are passed through to members who report them on their individual tax returns. So if you were a part of that LLC and I reported a loss on my personal taxes, their profits and losses are going to be passed through to members, so the different people in this group. So if you want to understand a limited liability company, you have to know that limited liability companies are permitted under state statutes and regulations governing them vary state to state. Generally, LLC owners are not called members. So if you're an LLC owner, you're not going to be called a member. Many states don't restrict ownership, which means that anyone can be a member. That includes individuals, corporations, foreign entities, and even other LLCs. Some entities, such as banks and insurance companies, are also are prohibited from having LLCs. An LLC is an informal business arrangement that requires articles of organizations to be filed with the state. And I can also let you guys know what articles of organizations are. But an LLC is easier to set up than a corporation and provides more flexibilities and more protections to its investors. Um, LLCs may elect to not pay federal taxes directly. Instead, their profits and loss can be reported on their personal tax returns of the owners, or the LLC may choose to be classified as a corporation for tax purposes. So, I hope that information was able to help you out a little bit. If you ever experience, um, some people will ask, I remember some people would ask if fraud is detected or if LLC fails to meet its legal and reporting requirements, creditors may be eligible to go after the other members. So LLC should not be confused with unlimited liability corporations, which is ULC, which is a corporate structure followed in certain countries and in some Canadian provinces. It is important that wages paid to an LLC member are deemed operating expenses and are deducted from the company's revenue. Okay, so we're going to talk about that a little more as we go into paying employees and with your revenue. So, what you're paying people comes out of your revenue. Next week, I will actually talk about forming an LLC. So, I talked about forming a sole proprietorship. Next week, I will actually talk about forming an LLC and how to properly do that. Remember to click like, subscribe, and share. Hit the bell notice. Y'all go crazy in my comment section, and I'm out.